Okay, blessings to everybody. I pray that today is wonderful for you. And going live here from not even East London, Johannesburg, actually. We've been in East London as well as Johannesburg. So I want to talk a little bit about just this review. And so what we'll do is we'll wait on a couple of you to come in. In the meantime, um, we'll share a couple of updates with you. Leaving here on tomorrow, but won't get to North Carolina till until Thursday. Actually, Thursday evening, I believe it is. And so this has been a joyous and very interesting trip. Hello to each and every one of you, and God bless all of you. It is after 11 o'clock here now. And so, of course, I had to do the same thing last week, which is stay up late so that I can make sure that I am on the right timing with you. And so I'm going to do a review on South Africa and our experience here and just talk a little bit about that. I'm going to lighten it up just a bit today, just with a review. Next week, I'll go into probably more detail concerning this war because it looks like people are gearing up for World War III. And so that's a conversation that I intend on having with you next week. I pray that the war don't start between now and next Tuesday, but I think that's where we are. And hello, how are you? I see you all saying God bless and hello, and it's a blessing to see or be seen rather by each and every one of you. So let's have a conversation, have a review. If you would share and like, subscribe and follow, and tell all of the people that follow you to do the same, so that every time we do something like this, we end up getting the information out as much as possible. So let's talk about this whole process. Um, I've been coming to South Africa since 2006. And from that time, I visited South Africa regularly. In 2008, we took our first South Africa church or Africa church in, and that is Amazing Grace Ministries International. And we took them in 2008. And so, and that was 2 years after I started coming to South Africa, and I've been coming ever since. And the unique thing about it, though, is that in coming back, um, going back, coming back to the States and talking about it, people um, people really did not grasp what I was saying. I think that one of the challenges that I've had is that the narrative that the Associated Press many times can put on Africa uh, is um, is misleading. I will say is very misleading, and there may be a lot of reasons for that. But I have several stories that I want to share with you and tell you about my trip. Um, and so this has been really an interesting process for me because this is the first time I've taken a group with me. Usually it's me and a musician, which is usually Elder Will, and that was it. But this time we kind of, we opened it up and we had about 20 people here with us, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the only thing that I keep hearing is that this is an eye-opening experience. I'll never be the same again, and I've got to come back here. That's what I keep hearing over and over and over again. And I believe that each and every individual, whether you're black or white or Asian, every individual needs to come to Africa. Every individual needs to come to the place of beginning, and it is such a beautiful, prosperous land. And I'll share a few things with you. Pastor Atimba, that's my other pastor in Kenya, he's on. And he said Kenya is the next step, the next stop, and larger Africa. Most definitely will be coming to Kenya because we have sowed so much there and trying to finish building that church there as well. And so we'll be in Kenya very soon. My intention is to try to get there within the next 6 months. I'm hoping 4 months, but at the most, it'll be about 6 months, and then I'll be in Kenya. And so let's talk about this experience. As I said, I've been coming here since 2006. We took in a church in 2008, and I've been coming regularly to South Africa and to East London. East London, South Africa is probably about an hour and a half, give or take, flight from Johannesburg. And once you get to East London, you will find a lot of different opportunities. And when I say opportunities, I'm talking about opportunities for ministry and imparting into people. And so we got there into East London. Hello to all of you. We got there into East London. And once we got there, I got everybody to the hotel. And I like, when I'm doing something like this, I like to put people in resorts or resort experiences that has malls and things like that connected to it. The reason being is because when you're in a foreign country, you don't know the area. And so you don't know if you're in danger or not in danger. You don't know, the challenging side of town or the great side. You don't know any of that. So I like to put people in an environment that they're extremely comfortable, but at the same time, they can learn about the culture. And so this is what we did in both places. So let's talk about East London first. And so when we get to East London and then get to the hotel, the group that we brought was pleasantly surprised at the hotel. We ended up flying into Johannesburg. We stayed for one night at a particular hotel. And after that, I went to sleep. There's a whole bunch of people that went to eat, God bless them. But then after that, then we flew to Johannesburg, East London on the next day. And upon landing there and getting there, the people were pleasantly surprised. What you're going to find about travel, especially when you're dealing with Africa, and that is that you want to make sure that you are getting the proper amount of money that is necessary in order for your trip. Most places, many places, I don't want to say most, many places take American money, but a lot of places don't. All right. So I'm going to say it's a 50-50 when it comes to that. But it seems like almost everybody takes almost everybody takes credit card and debit card. All right. And then, of course, you can go to where they do the exchange of money, and you can get then your rand. And when you get your rand, and I'm forgetting now, I think it's like for our $1, there may end up being 8 to 10, maybe, or even better rand. All right. And so you want to make sure that you have plenty of rand and understand the value of that rand and understand the value of the different places in Africa where you are. All right. And so there are some places you may go into and they may be struggling areas. And so then that means that, 50 rand may be a struggle for them. All right. But that 50 rand may end up being $2 or $3 in American money. All right. But then, you can go to some other places and then the rand has almost equivalent value. Now, one thing I have noticed in my years of coming, and that is that when you get to South Africa, you're definitely going to get more bang for your buck. Hello, God bless you. You're definitely going to get more bang for your buck and definitely more value for your money. You can take 4 people. Let's say that you're used to taking 4 people in the States to a steakhouse. And let's say that you're going to spend maybe $100 per person. at that steakhouse in the States. And let's say it's a five-star steakhouse, all right, in the States. You know, spend $400 or whatever on everybody there, at least $100 per person. But in South Africa, you can take four people to dinner, have the same steak, have the same everything, and then that is going to cost you maybe $150 or something like that. And so you'll find out that you'll get more bang for your buck after you get here. Now, of course, you got to travel here, and you want to, and we'll talk about travel in just a minute, because that travel really, but let me go into that part. That travel is going to be, um, you'll you'll fly out of one place to go to another place. So for our group, they flew out of Charlotte and flew into Atlanta. All right. And then from Atlanta, they go straight from Atlanta straight to Johannesburg. All right. Or you can have a hub where you go to Newark, or you may go to New York, or you may go to Chicago, wherever that hub may be. And then you can get a straight flight to Johannesburg. Sometimes you'll have to stop over into London, or there is a place that I used to stop over at. It was called Sakar, I believe, and it's on kind of the edge of the continent. You'll stop there, gas up, and then keep going. But now with these Airbuses, you can pretty much get to Johannesburg and you'll be okay. You're going to have probably about a 15-hour flight. So you have food accessible. They're going to serve you breakfast, lunch, and dinner on that flight. You'll have, you got to remember though that they're going to close those. They're going to close those windows. So Timber said it's for every $1, it's $18 and 62 cents right now for South African money. All right. So with that being said, thank you, Pastor Timber. With that being said, then in your travel, your 15-hour travel, you're going to have, like I said, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But at the same time, you know, every movie you want to see, every whatever is there. Plus, they will have on there like a map that will show you where you are in your travel and how far you are from your destination. And so it is predicated on, you know, you can get regular seating, you can get an upgrade in seating, you can upgrade all the way to first class. All right, and so and that is when you're in flight like that, you want to be as comfortable as possible. All right, so you're going to trust me, you're going to get a lot of sleep, and it's not a hard trip, but definitely there are times that you're like, wow, this is a trip, this is a long trip, you know. But if you, by the time you eat, look at a movie, go to sleep, wake back up, you're pretty much there, maybe an hour or two from being there. And so and then you will, once you land, trust me, you got a hallelujah moment. And then after that, then you want to go ahead and get your luggage, get your RAN, things like that. Now, for Patty Jones says they give you earplugs and pillows and blankets. So definitely they do that so that you can rest. And then they will wake you up for your breakfast, lunch, or dinner if you're sleeping, if you choose to. All right. So the next part of that then is once you get here, of course, you'll go through customs, and Patty said the leg room on Delta is great. You'll go through customs, and it's pretty easy, and you're right in. And at that point, you want to make sure, and this is what I suggest, you want to make sure that you've already secured your transportation from where you are to the hotel. Here's the truth of the matter: if you get in a vehicle with somebody, you don't know if they're taking you in circles. You've never been to that country before, so be wise enough to be able to take that and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and schedule. And really, it's not a lot. You can schedule a private car, probably from anywhere from $15 to $30. So predicated on where you go. So it's not really going to be that difficult at all. All right, especially for your security. All right, let's talk about tipping. So tipping, they'll tell you something like maybe if you look, they'll say maybe um, 15 or 20 rand for a tip. I always try to tip a bit more than that because I know basically what the value of that money is, and that's nothing, especially to those that are in America. So I would suggest that you tip at least 50 rand, somewhere around there between 30 and 50 rand. I think is a good tip that you can give somebody for carrying your bags and things like that. And if you want to do more, that's fine. If you want to pay them American money, that's fine as well, because what they'll do is that they'll just have it exchanged, and you can give them $5 tip or something like that. All right. Now, when we got to East London, I think that if you watch on my Instagram, because I kind of did a kind of like a video journal because I wanted everybody to experience South Africa in a different kind of way, and technology has gotten to the point that we can. And so, and I'm not saying that Facebook ain't been around and things like that, but y'all know that I was not on social media until this COVID situation. That's when I got on social media, and only thing I really do is Instagram, because I really don't do Facebook. All right, so with that being said, um, I thought it was necessary to kind of show people what it looks like. So let me say this to you: South Africa is freaking amazing. East London, amazing, absolutely. Anybody that tells you anything different is a liar. It's just amazing. It is amazing. You got great shopping. You'll have great opportunity. I promise you. And where I took everyone, we ended up. There's movie theater there. There is a casino there. Don't go. All right, but there's a casino there. There is all kind of restaurants there. There is all kind of shopping there. Anything that you want to do, from grocery store to nails to whatever. I went and got my nails cut, and when I went and got my nails cut, all the technician were black men. The only woman that was in there was the woman that's taking the money. Other than that, all were black men. All were black men. All were black men. And I mean, and they're doing their thing. They're doing their thing. When you get into certain environments, I tell people, become cultured and enjoy the environment. And y'all know how I am. Stop going to the local beaches in North Carolina, South Carolina, and or wherever you are. Stop going to those local beaches, because if you pay 50, 60% more money, then you can have a different level of an experience and enjoy yourself. All right. So and somebody said something about casino. All right, so here's the deal: if you're gonna go to the casino, you're only going there to exchange money, and you come right back out. All right. Anyway, so you enjoy that environment. Food, phenomenal. Don't let nobody tell you different. Food is phenomenal. East London, South Africa is you have areas that they call squatters camps. And in those squatters camps, and let me explain to you what a squatters camp is. We understand what a squatter is in the United States, but in a squatters camp, this has to do with people that will gather materials together and build somewhat of a makeshift house. Maybe no electricity, anything like that, but a makeshift house on government property. And once they're there, the government doesn't move them. And they're called squatters camps. Now, in a squatters camp, in a squatters camp, Now, when we were in East London in a squatters camp, I asked the pastor, how many people are in this squatters camp? He said there were 200,000 people in that particular squatters camp. 200,000. You heard me right. 200,000 people in that squatters camp. Now, when I got there, they have, there's a lot of honor, and I thank God for that. There's a lot of honor in South Africa. A lot of honor in South Africa. They have, and there are different levels of rules. So let me explain to you some of the rules. And some of you may think that it's fair. Some of you may think that it's not fair. But these are the rules. A squatter's camp, the rules or the law in a squatter's camp is not the law in the city. It is a squatter's camp law. So I'm explaining to you what the difference is. In the squatter's camp law, if you violate that law in the squatter's camp, they deal with you themselves. And they call the police only to let the police know where your body is. Now I'm going to let that sink in for a second. So, in a squatter's camp, and this is why I tell people when you're going out of the country, learn the rules and the environment and stop walking around thinking that because you're American, you have all of these benefits and nothing applies to you. No, everything applies. And you got to know the rules of that squatter's camp. So let me tell you one of the rules. In that, remember, squatters camp, when I was there, a squatters camp there is 200,000 people. In that squatters camp, if somebody steals and you get caught stealing, they do not call the police. They don't. If you get caught stealing, they come together and have a meeting. And when they come together and have a meeting with that person that stole, pretty much that person is not leaving out of there alive. Those are squatters camp's rules. They will beat that person until they are dead. Or either they will beat them until they're almost dead. These are squatters camp rules. This is not East London. This is not Johannesburg. We're dealing with squatters camp rules. You've got regular areas. You got squatters camp areas. You've got the bush. You got a lot of different communities. So here's the rules. Like I said, you may not think it's fair or whatever. In squatters camps, they honor one another. And when you steal, you bring dishonor to that community, and they will not have it. And they will kill you. When they kill you, they then put gasoline on your body and burn you. And after they burn you, you may be alive, you may not be alive when they get ready to set you on fire. But you're going to be dead when it's over. After that, they'll put you up under a bridge, your body up under a bridge, and then they'll call the police, and nobody in the community tells the police who did it. They said they will not tolerate a thief. Now, same thing applies if a man hits slaps or abuses a woman. If the woman comes out and says he hit me or beat me, the rules of the squatters camp is the same. Now I'm gonna let you think about that for a second. Now here's one of the questions that I ask. I ask, what if the woman is lying? And this is what the response was. If the woman is lying, the man is still going to get killed. Yeah. Yeah. If a man is found with another man's wife, he's going to get killed. Now, I know you all are talking about, what about the women? What about the women? What about the women? I'll tell you about the women. If a wife gets caught with another man, nothing happens. If a woman gets caught stealing, almost nothing happens. She may get a whooping, but nothing like the men. Because masculinity is held to a different standard, to a complete different standard. Now, as long as you ain't stealing nobody's stuff and putting your hands on people, you ain't got a problem. But the moment that you do, there is an issue. And please understand, the community comes together. And when I say the community comes together, let me tell you what happens. It's the men in the community comes together. The women don't even come, because the men are going to deal with that, and they know that man is not going to be found alive again for stealing. Okay. Now, long as you don't violate those rules, you're fine. That's in the squatters camp. That's in the squatters camp. Now, if you're not in the squatters camp, you're just in a regular neighborhood, things like that. Yes, if somebody's stealing, police is called, all of that, just like it would be in the United States. What I'm talking about is squatters camp rules. And there are different types of rules when you're dealing with people that are in the bush. Because now you're dealing with tribal rules. And the tribal rules can be just as intense. Now, with that being said, I know y'all learned a lot right now. With that being said, one of the most honorable places in the world. And if you think about everything that I'm talking about is actually based on one thing: honor. Honor. They have honor and loyalty. The honor and loyalty. This is why one of the reasons why I love South Africa so much, because I am a loyalty freak. I am committed to loyalty. I believe that loyalty is one of the greatest things in the world, and I'm committed to loyalty. And that's one of the reasons why I love South Africa so much, because they have such loyalty. Well, Africa, period. There's a different level of loyalty. Now, for those of you that did not, you can go back on my Instagram and see, and probably some of the people that were here. Every time I come to South Africa, I am known as, of course, they call me Dr. Williams, they call me Bishop Williams, but most of the time, they call me Papa. And when I come in to South Africa, usually they will meet me at the airport and have a parade from the airport all the way to my hotel. The amount of people that wanted to honor me was too much for the airport. So they had to wait until I went for the first service. And the people that were with me, I didn't tell them what the culture was and the fact of their honor for me. But this is something that I'm used to, and this is something that happens to me regularly when I come to South Africa. And when I turned that, when they drove me and I turned that corner, the police had blocked off the street. There was a marching band. There were flag girls, and it was if you watch my video, it is a 30-minute parade from the edge of that street through the neighborhood to the church that we built there. And their honor is unbelievable. And so for those of you that did not get a chance to see it, go back on my Instagram and you'll see that it's a 30-minute parade. And we parade all the way to the church. Once we get in there, and the people that are with our ministry, you got to remember that it's not just me, but it's the fact that our ministry has done so much here. Our ministry has done so much here. So you can ask anybody that came, the honor for the people that were with me was just as equivalent to the honor for me. And it is a phenomenal environment. Phenomenal environment. I preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you watched online, many people got saved, rededicated their lives to the Lord. And we have so much still work to do for the kingdom of God. And so it was an awesome time. Now, once we, every day when I'm in revival, I really don't, I kind of stay to myself because I want to make sure that I'm hearing from God. And because when you're in another country, your prophetic ear has to be accurate. You got to be able to identify exactly what the Lord is saying and speak. And for those of you that were watching, there were many people that I was speaking to that the Lord was telling me something about them and giving them direction. Many of them did not even speak English. So while I was ministering, they were translating what I was saying. But when they translated what I was saying, they were confirming that what I was saying was accurate as the Holy Spirit was sharing with me. And so please note that when you come to Africa, you really need to be gifted. And if you don't have that gift, leave that alone. Because either you have the gift of the Holy Ghost, or remember, in the environment that you're in, you also have another kind of experience and belief, and that is ancestral worship, which we define as a witchcraft, okay? Because we don't worship those that were here and that going on before. We don't do that. Jesus is the only one that we worship. And so you're dealing with that kind of environment. But many people have come to Jesus and denounced ancestral worship. But make no mistake, it still exists. It still exists. I remember when I got to Johannesburg the first time before I got to East London, and there was a man that was sharing, and he was ministering. And as he was ministering to me, he was talking about that he was saying that he loved God, and he could tell I was a man of God and I love God. And he was a porter, just somebody that kind of helps you get from one place to another. So he wasn't expecting me. He just saw me come off the flight. And next thing I know, we're talking about Jesus. And he mentions it. He says, because he told me, he says, if you know anything about our culture, there's a lot of ancestral worship here. He says, and we have to talk about Jesus as much as we can. As much as we can. So I think that it is something that I think that every believer needs to have a mindset. I would say have a mindset of ministry, you know. And so our last night, we after ministering, we took a multitude of pictures. I mean, a multitude of pictures, and and it was just such a blessing. The environment is such a blessing, and God tremendously moved. So if you have not watched, then go and watch and take a look, and you will see how the Lord moved in such a mighty way. I gave everybody a day after that Friday night. I gave everybody a day, which is that Saturday, to basically do what they wanted to do. And after that, then on Sunday we left. And after leaving, we were heading Sunday. We headed to Johannesburg, which is where I am now. Got to the hotel. What I've been told by the people that are here, that my choices of hotels are amazing. Well, one thing I do believe, and that is that if you're going to travel with me, I'm going to make sure that you're not traveling in a place or staying in a place that you're worried or that you're concerned. I believe that our God is a king, and I believe that we're his children. And so, therefore, we should operate within that mindset. And so, I give you definitely the most bang for your buck when it comes to that environment. And it is, yeah. I'm in my room now, actually, and you can somewhat see the atmosphere that I'm in. And this is not just my room. This is every room. This is every room. Every room is just like this. So I don't want y'all thinking that I'm over in some suite somewhere doing whatever. Really, I don't have to. I mean, we could, but I don't have to do that. And the reason being is because when you're dealing with a 5-star environment, you're already good anyway. All right? Already good. And so everybody here is happy when it comes to their experience. And we have done pretty much everything from shopping to visiting, everything connected to Mandela, all 3 of his homes, churches, souvenir shops, just whatever have you, had that experience. If you saw, we had 2 safaris, one safari in East that we went to in East London, which I did not go because I was ministering, but others went. And then the one here in Johannesburg, and I went today with a small group. And you can see that on my Instagram, Dr. Kevin A. Williams Official. So you can follow there as well and subscribe there as well. So now, let me tell y'all something. I don't pull no punches with nobody. We got the safari today. And yeah, we saw the cheetahs and all of that. But let me tell you, there were 3 different prides of lions that we visited today. And there was one pride, you need to look on that Instagram. That lion, that woman was feeding that lion through that bus cage, basically, is what it is. And so everybody, we're getting selfies and things like that with that lion. But let me tell you something. There is a moment that you remember that the only thing that's keeping me alive, other than the Holy Ghost, is this piece of metal that is between us and this beast. Now, if you heard a lion growl, it is like walking thunder. Hear what I'm telling you. It's like walking thunder. I was in the bus in this caged environment, and still, you knew, don't carry yourself out there. If you dropped your phone, baby, use somebody else's phone to call your family and friends and say, don't call my phone no more, because that phone is gone. I'm telling you right now, 3 different prides of lions, and all of them was amazing. Absolutely all of them was amazing. When that lion jumped up, because she had some meat, that lion jumped up, and you got to look at my video. That lion jumped up and started eating that meat. You You knew at that point. Now, let me tell you all a story that I was told today, that because in these safaris, you have um, you have two different methods of a safari. You can have the safari where you go with the person that is going to uh, be the individual that kind of shows you everything. Or you can go to the safari by yourself. You can pay to drive your car through it. I was told, and they said this is online, I was told that there was an American woman who was driving through this safari and had decided, because they tell you lock your doors and roll down your windows. Roll up your windows. This lady decided that she was going to roll down her window because she wanted to see nature up close. The lion jumped in the vehicle and ate her, killed her, and ate her. You pull it up online. It says one American woman that did that, and there was an Asian woman that did that. Now, let me tell you something. I don't care how pretty lions are, they're still wild beasts, and you respect them. And if you don't, you got a problem. Now, let me tell you what they had to do. They had to find them the lion and kill him. And the reason they had to kill him is because they said once a lion tastes human blood, once he tastes human blood, they said he's always going to be looking for it with all the other meats that he has eaten. Let me tell you something. You ain't got to worry about that. Every time I go, I'm in a cage. Now, if you go and you're in a vehicle that does not have a cage, and that is another type of safari, but you go in that it does not have a cage, let me explain to you why you can drive through and it's still safe, even though the people that are taking you, they have guns to make sure that you're straight. But in those environments, let me explain to you why you're still safe. Because the lions look at you as being a part of that vehicle, so they do not attack, or they don't consider you prey of any kind because you're a part of that vehicle. But the moment you step out of that vehicle, you're no longer a part of that, and you are prey. Exactly. Not at all. Now, you know that scripture, for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I got a scripture. As for me and my house, we'll be in the cage. Okay? All right. So now, Ava asks a question. What is this, Ava? Did you see the snake, Pastor? You were guarding the door. All right. So let me tell you about that. She's probably on my live. We were out looking at, I think it was a leopard, 2 leopards, I think. And we were going to see the male leopard, which was black. While we were going around, the lady that was our tour guide, we saw her jump. She was jumping over into an area, and we saw her jump back. When we saw her jump back, she said, "We've got to go. There's a snake." The snake is not like a black snake that you got in North Carolina. The snake was a puff adder. And she said that evidently the snake was getting ready to come out when she jumped over and she saw him go back. And she realized in that hole, when she saw his eyes and his head, his head is his head. I think she said his body was something like this. All right. And so by the time she said, we got to go. Well, I am always a pastor. Now, this most of the time, I'm going to direct you and let you know. All right. If I tell you these are your three options, and if we're in a counseling session or ministry direction, I'll tell you these are your three options. You choose the option that you want, but these are your best ways to handle it. Then there are times that I will tell you, oh no, this is what we're going to do, and we out. And today was one of those days. I very seldom tell people what to do, but today I told everybody, get out, let's go. I had one lady that was there looking like she was playing with some rocks. I said, if you don't get on that bus, because see, you can't until you get on the bus, I can't get on the bus because I got to make sure that everybody that's with me is covered. But let me tell you something else. I ain't gonna wait on you to walk because I'll throw you over my shoulder and keep going. Because ain't nobody getting bit by no puff adder. And then when we finally got back on the bus, I know y'all laughing at me. When she finally got back on the bus, she told us that there was a larger puff adder that lived kind of in an area. She had the nerve to say that his body was like this. No, we're out. And I promise you we were. I know some of y'all right there are tickled as you can be. God bless your heart. But I'm telling you right now, we are out. I do not care if you're on a walker or a cane. We out. We got back on there. We saw, if you saw my live, you'll see that we walked outside. Giraffe walked right up on us. No, on us. I think Patty Jones patted his neck. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. We saw hyenas, and those you all know when I'm at home, I have a hyena in one corner of my office, and I have a Cape buffalo in another corner of my office, and in another area in my home, I have a kudu. And so all of these were game that were from Africa, from hunting expeditions. But let me tell you, when I tell you, oh, I'm almost done. When I tell you that I've never seen people so happy and so content and so at peace. So at peace. The malls that are connected here are everywhere from any price range that you want is connected to that mall. Yes, there were some wild dogs that were there. Yeah, wild dogs. You had cheetah. You had wildebeest. You had ostrich. You had peacocks. You had lions. You had leopards. You had giraffes. You had alligators. I'm trying to remember, guys. That's all I can remember right now. All right. But yes, something like impalas. So an amazing experience. This is what I challenge everybody to do. come and experience Africa. Now, when I first came here in 2006, I remember driving, riding rather, and I saw these big, huge mounds of dirt, and they looked like man-made mountains. And I was in Johannesburg, and so I said, "What are those mountains for?" And the man said to me, "This is 2006." He said, "Dr. Williams, they're gold mines." He says, "And when you," he says, "those are the mounds that are connected to the fact of digging into those gold mines." And so he told me about a group that ended up selling. It was an abandoned gold mine. They said they gotten all the gold out of. And there was a gentleman that bought the gold mine from this company. And anybody that knows anything about gold, gold is not like oil. You can dig straight down, hit oil, and then all the oil is there. That's not how gold is. Gold is in veins. So you can have a stream of gold, it can stop. And then you can keep digging and have no more gold. But if you go 2, 3, 4, 5 feet over, you'll catch the vein again and dig and find gold. There's an interesting book called 3 Feet from Gold that you need to take a look at that book. An acquaintance of mine actually wrote the book. So here's the deal. This man ended up buying this gold mine. They told him there was no more gold there. Do you know he became a billionaire? Because he found other veins of gold that this company never knew was there. He had borrowed the money to buy the mines and borrowed enough money for digging, but he had studied it well enough that he ended up striking. What is this? Pastor Temple said Johannesburg has the deepest and longest gold mine in the world. Johannesburg actually was the reason that people settled in Johannesburg was because of gold. Now, in a neighboring city from here, now think about this. This is Johannesburg, so it is a gold city, all up under the ground. But in a neighboring city, it's platinum. It is a different kind of experience. How much time do I have? Lord have mercy. I got to get ready to get off, guys. What questions do you have for me? And I'm going to see if I can answer. If I have the answer, I'll try to answer some of your questions. Hello, Dr. Williams. It looks like you guys had a wonderful trip. Will there be info on how to join you guys on the next trip? Have a safe return. Thank you so much. And it's harder for me to read because I'm actually doing this with my phone. All right, because I can bring my desk everywhere I go. We will make it public again, and we'll give you pricing and things like that, and let you know, and you can rock with us. And we're going to do ministry, so we tell everybody that if you're going to come, we want you to do everything that we're doing. So when it's time to go to church, when it's time to do ministry, we're going to church, we're doing ministry. And the reason being is because I don't want a whole lot of people coming and now they're dishonoring the rules. We got chaos. And then now you're putting everybody in jeopardy or not safe. And I'm not saying this person that wrote this is doing that. I'm just saying this to the public, that I want to make sure that everybody is safe. Because if you go somewhere with me out of the country, please understand something. If you follow the rules, I have a set of rules. If you follow those rules, you'll come home safe. I don't lose people. If you follow those rules, you'll come home safe and you'll be fine. and you enjoy. And I'm not talking about keeping people in a box and things like that. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying that, hey, if we say, like, for instance, I would not let anybody, even though there's a lot of shopping in downtown East London, you can't go to downtown East London and shop. It's too dangerous. So you got to know the environment that you're in, and always go with people that know the environment, know what they're talking about, and have relationships with people in those areas. All these people that have traveled the world from YouTube, tell them to kick rocks. All right. Now, what's the next question I got? How is the weather there? Today it is raining. Yesterday it was hailing. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yesterday it was hailing so badly in that rain until, hey Margie, it was hailing so badly in that rain and that thunderstorm that the ground was white like snow. And I actually videoed it on my phone because I wanted to be able to just, it was unbelievable. Now it's cold here right now. But just last week it was pretty hot. So this is the time of year that weather is going to shift and go up and down. Next question. And that is, Bishop, the next time we go, can we go by a school? Would love to visit a class. I can't read the rest of that because that is small. All right. Would love to visit a class, collaborate with the school there. Most definitely. Most definitely. I think it's a class and learn. All right. There we are. All right. That's a consideration. I would have to make that a part of my tour because there are certain places I try to make sure that people go and experience because I want people to learn the culture so that when you come back to the States that you can share in great detail. But I have a math teacher that is here with us, and she's asked me somewhat of the same thing. So people that are in education, most definitely I can set that up, and I have the right relationships that can make that happen. What's my next question? Being that World War III is in the wings, do you think our traveling will be deferred? I'm not sure. South Africa is a part of BRICS. The United States is a part of NATO. BRICS has about 9 nations, South Africa being one of them, Brazil, Russia, Iran. It was India, and Iran is included now, but India, you have China, and then you have South Africa. And that's why they call it BRICS, because they were the 5 countries that came in. All right. Now, if we ended up going to war, because right now, South Africa is the president. Let me say that the president is supporting Gaza. He's supporting the Palestinians and he's supporting Gaza. The United States supporting Israel. Do I think that we're going to have issue? No, I don't think that we're going to have as much issue. If we did, I promise you, I'd let you know, because I don't take anybody anywhere that it's not safe. All right. So, but I don't think it's going to be deferred, at least not for the next little while. But I believe you give it 2 years, we're going to be in a different kind of environment. 2-3 years, we're going to be a different kind of environment. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that the next president is going to be a wartime president. I do believe that. All right. Next question, and that is, Dr. Williams, for those of us who suffer from seasonal allergies, I think that you'll be okay in Africa. I would still say bring your allergy medicine, but I think that you'll be okay in Africa. I really do, because you really are not experiencing a lot of pollen per se. So when you're dealing with seasonal allergies, I don't think you're going to have too much of a challenge here. All right, I really don't. I don't think it'd be a problem. Um, Dr. Kevin, what is the predominant religion in South Africa? I have discovered that Christianity is major here. It is major here, and you have a lot of different denominations actually in South Africa. In the area that our church is in East London, it's our church, which is Church of Sound Doctrine, and then you have a Methodist church around there, you have a Baptist church around there, and you have Catholic churches in the area as well. So there's been a lot of missionary work and evangelizing in the area, and so definitely I would say that Christianity is really, really strong. Now this is in the areas that I'm talking about, because there are other areas that Islam is very strong. Okay, so it all depends on when you're dealing with Sudan and things like that, then you're dealing with the strength of Islam. All right, but in the areas that I'm talking about, predominantly Christianity. All right, I'm gonna do one more question and then I'm gonna let it go. So let's see what it is. All right. How was the experience adjusting to the food selections? To be honest with you, food selections are great. They're great. They're great. Now, there's some people that ignore this. I do not ignore it. We have, hey, Pastor Usher, hey, man. We have, when we're dealing with our food selections, one thing I don't do fruits. I don't do salads, things like that. I don't do any of those things. And the reason I don't do that is because when you come to South Africa, what the CDC will tell you and what the local health department will tell you is that you need to drink bottled water and not drink water from the tap because your body may react a little bit differently to it. I am always safe. I'm always going to take the safe route. So I tell people, whether they do it or not, I tell people, number one, don't eat salads, don't eat fruits, because it may because we're coming from two different continents and our body conditions are very different. All right. The next aspect of that is that even with let's say you put water, and then people like to do infusion water where they put a lot of fruits. It's the same situation. It's the same situation. So I would say to you that that would be my only concern. But everything else, trust me, food is amazing. Food is amazing. Beef is tender. Beef is tender. And they have a fish called king clip. And you want the large one, not the small one. The smaller one has more bones in it. And I don't like a lot of bony fish. But if you get the large king clip, it has one main bone in the middle. And they put lemon butter on top of that. Let me tell you something. You're going to have a Holy Ghost filled good time. I promise you that. All right. So I pray that this has been informative to you, and that that you will be a part of the next time we come. This is the way that you can support this podcast and support what I'm doing. I like to make sure that I give you news and information and things like that. And since we're Christians and we don't support Halloween, we don't. And dressing up and going to church with dressed up still is supporting Halloween, we don't support it. All right. So I figured I'd do something very different tonight and talk about, give a review concerning the experience. We're leaving tomorrow. Everybody leaves before me, so they're leaving first, and then I'm going to leave after them, so many hours after them, and I think they're going to do a little sightseeing and some shopping before they leave, because trust me, that last day is a interesting day, and you want to kind of get as much in as possible. All right, so this way you can support me. and support this podcast. $ Dr. Kevin A. Williams. And for Zelle, Dr. Kevin A. Williams at gmail.com. You can also paypal.me/ Dr. Kevin A. Williams. And you can mail it to Dr. Kevin A. Williams, 1822 Sharp Road, Greensboro, North Carolina, 27406. All right. So let's be a part and make sure that we are connecting in every way. The greatest love and respect for each and every one of you. I pray that tonight has been, well, it's night for me, and the evening for you. I pray that it has been an enjoyable evening and that you've learned something that you did not know. All right. So next time, here's my question. Next time, who's coming? That's my question. Next time, who's coming with me? So let me see on who's going to come with me on here, because this is an experience. So Ava said me, Joy said me, Latasha said thank you, me, Janie said me. So I've got all of you saying that you're coming, and I love this. I love this. I love this because I want you here. It is an unforgettable experience. You will enjoy yourself. I promise you, you will enjoy yourself. All right. And so when you find all of the people that have been here, and you got to look at social media, and you'll find all the people that have been here. And trust me, all of them will say the same. They had a ridiculously good time. All right. Blessings to all of you. And I plan on being back in the States within the next 48 hours. All right. Much love, because tomorrow's going to be spent in traveling, and we are 6 hours ahead of you. All right. So, like, it's after 6 now, it's after 12 here. All right. And so, pray for us as we have traveling mercy. My mother is here, 80 years old, first time that she's ever been in Africa. And I'm going to tell you right now, she has had a ball. 80 years old, and she's had a ball. If my 80-year-old mother can come here, have a ball, and come back home, your scared 20-year-old self can get over here. All right. I love y'all, and greatest blessings to you. I will see you very, very soon. God bless.